It may also leave you somewhat transformed. If you cook with all your heart, some transformation may happen. Yes? Taking care of a cow can change your life, you know. If you sing with all your heart, some transformation may happen. If you dance with all your heart, some transformation may happen. But that is only a certain impact that is happening because of absolute involvement in a particular activity. But essentially that activity by nature is an expression of who you are. It is not determining the nature of who you are. So when we transform our activity, not as an expression of who we are, because who wants to find expression like this in the morning? Definitely not, isn't it? So, it is not an expression, it is a method, it is a means, it's a technology through which you can change the shape of who you are. Literally also, otherwise also. You can change the very shape of who you really are right now. That can be transformed. Because who you are right now as a person is a combination of things. Genetic material, before that, the karmic substance that you carry. Because of that, you chose a certain womb, so the genetic material. And since the moment you were born, whatever kind of impressions that have gone into you in the form of variety of experiences, situations, thoughts, emotions, relationships, associations, whatever else you have imbibed, all these things make you a certain kind of person. When you say, I am a certain kind of person, what you're saying is, I have this kind of compulsions. When you say, I am this kind of person, what you're saying is, this is the kind of compulsions that I identify myself with, so I am this kind of a person. People, you know, it's a very Western thing, but it's very much there in India today, because a lot of Indians are far more Western than West. You know, if you go all the way west, you come back to India. So they are much more Western than Westerners are today. So people say, I'm a morning person, I'm an evening person. So what they mean is, morning, I cannot wake up in the morning. That means I'm an evening person. I can't stay awake in the evening, so I'm a morning person. Not only that, people… it's going far, you know, some are BlackBerry people, some are Apple people. It's all getting… world is getting divided in so many ways. They're not just instruments that you use and keep it down, it's… you get identified with it. So there are chapati people, there are rice people, there are dosa people, there are idli people, you know all kinds So, what kind you are is essentially a certain type of compulsions.
So I hope everybody got that. The audio was a little bit in and out, but we'll be going through a couple things and we have time for questions afterwards. So the purpose of the clip was for Sadhguru to establish yoga literally means union or to merge with the existence. Yoga is more than physical postures. Yoga is a science or technology concerned with transformation. So yoga means union, but what does that actually mean? Union with what? So Sadhguru gives us a beautiful, easy example. So what the trees exhale, we inhale. So 1/2 of our lung is actually hanging out there. So this idea of us just being what is in this container is a limited possibility. Yoga is a way to actually expand beyond that and get to your true ultimate nature. So we experience ourselves as individual human beings, but our existence is continuously demonstrating that what we call me and what we call the real existence are not as separate as they appear. And Sadhguru takes this much further. So modern science can tell us that existence is interconnected. Religion can tell us God is everywhere. We can believe either of those things. But yoga is interested in something else. Sadhguru says yoga means to know the union of existence by experience. That distinction is crucial. Not believing that everything is one, not philosophizing that everything is one, not intellectually concluding that everything is interconnected. Experiencing it. So when that union becomes a living experience, Sadhguru says that you are in yoga. Now we have a problem. What's that problem? So if yoga means union, what does your body have to do with union? So why this? Why this? Why this? Why all those things? What does that have to do with what Sadhguru is speaking about in the video? Why twist yourself? Why sit in particular postures? Why has the human body become so closely associated with yoga if yoga is talking about something as profound as experiencing the union of existence? To understand that, we need to look at the human mechanism a little differently. So, think about something simple. Observe yourself. When you are angry, do you sit in exactly the same way as when you're peaceful? If somebody comes in the door now and they have a gun and they get surprised, you're like, that's different, right? When you come home from work and you sit down on your couch, it was a very long day, your posture is different. The way you orient yourself is different. So every psychological and emotional state naturally produces a corresponding physical posture. So what happens if you naturally determines how you hold your body, could it also work the other way around? If you hold your body in a certain posture, could you influence the way you feel? Could consciously arranging the body influence what's happening within you? So rather than merely discussing it, let's try something. So we'll do a little experiment, okay? So rest your hands on your thighs. Keep all the 5 fingers together. Palms facing downward, loosely placed on the thighs. So take a few inhalations and exhalations deeply. Then I'll say switch as you're doing it. Then you flip your palms facing upwards. Then I'll say switch again, and you keep your palms facing downward to the original position. So don't do anything as yet. I'll instruct you just now, okay? So everyone ready? Yes? Okay. So close your eyes and let's start. So take a few deep inhalations and deep exhalations. Please switch, flip your hands over. Keep your palms facing upwards. Deep inhalation, deep exhalations. Please switch. Please slowly open your eyes. So did anybody notice a difference in the expansion and contraction of their breath? So when you keep the palms facing upwards, did you see a difference? Or was it just a normal breath as necessary? You felt more relaxed? You felt more peaceful? Was there anything to that effect? So when you hold it down, the palms facing downward, the maximum expansion and contraction is in the lower parts of the lungs by the diaphragm. When you keep the palms facing upwards, it's in the chest. So try it and see again. Close your eyes. See if you could notice the difference now that we're pointing it out. Just take 2 or 3 breaths, nothing too long. So you can open your eyes. So did you all notice the difference there? So just by flipping your hands, the very way you breathe is changing. It's not just about the breath. It's the way that your life energy is functioning in the body. So how many times a day that you're not aware of and you're doing this, or all these other things, all these different motions that you're not aware of. Now you're setting your energies in a turmoil and you're hoping to be peaceful. These things don't happen in the world unless you're doing the right things. It just won't work. So this is a very simple demonstration that points towards something larger. The geometry of the human body is not irrelevant to the way the system functions. So imagine what becomes possible if rather than randomly arranging the body, there's an entire science concerned with the understanding of these relationships precisely. Now, the asana begins to look slightly different. So Sadhguru explains that asana simply means a posture. There are only 84 different postures called yogasanas. So out of all these infinite postures that we take up, there are only 84 postures that can bring you to a state of union. So Sadhguru explains Hatha Yoga in terms of understanding the mechanisms of the body, using the body and its postures to direct the system in particular ways. The destination is the state of yoga. So you can't do yoga. You can be in a state of yoga. You also can't do meditation. You can only be in a state of meditation. We can give you processes to direct you to that point. But the destination remains yoga, union, and boundlessness. So the physical posture is a means. It is not the destination. And now even the word hatha tells us something. Ha means sun and ta means moon. Sadhguru describes Hatha Yoga as bringing a balance between the solar and lunar dimensions within us, traditionally referred to as the Pingala and Ida. And fundamentally, he describes Hatha Yoga as a preparatory process, preparing the body for a higher possibility. So the body matters enormously, but not because the yoga ends with the body. Precisely because the body can become an instrument for something far beyond the physical. And even Hatha Yoga is not the entirety of yoga. Sadhguru often explains the human mechanism through 4 fundamental dimensions: body, mind, emotion, and energy. The yogic sciences developed ways of approaching the human being through these different dimensions. So when we see somebody performing an asana, we are seeing perhaps the most visually obvious aspect of yoga. but the visible posture belongs to a science whose concern is the whole human mechanism. Which raises another question, of course. Where did such a science come from? So within the yogic culture, Sadhguru explains that Shiva is not fundamentally approached as a god. He is Adiyogi, the first yogi. According to the yogic tradition, over 15,000 years ago, Adiyogi began transmitting the yogic sciences. 7 disciples eventually became capable of receiving what he had to offer. We know them today as the Saptarishis, the 7 sages. And when Sadhguru says yogic science, he's not talking merely about learning to bend the body or hold the breath. He's talking about understanding the science of the human mechanism. And after years of transmission, the 7 Saptarishis were sent in different directions, carrying the different dimensions of this science. One of them was Agastya Muni. And according to Sadhguru's account of the yogic tradition, Agastya traveled south and made spiritual processes as part of the life of people throughout the Indian subcontinent. So you didn't even know you were doing yoga. He wove it into the actual daily lives themselves. So not merely as a philosophy, not merely as a belief, as a way of living. So this is what your grandmother used to tell you, your old people thing, and this is for the due, and all these things that have been passed on. Of course, it's been diluted, and even not just here, but even in India as well, these things are being dropped off. Because Sadhguru said we don't lose yoga because people are not practicing yoga. Because of what it is, it will always exist. But if we practice yoga wrong, then you lose the possibility of it. Because then you'll say, okay, yeah, I tried that before, it didn't work. But it has never been delivered in the way that a yogi would deliver it, to be able to give you that access to that thing which is beyond this natural creation. So that's the tradition from which yoga comes from. And then, so this brings us to something very important. Classical Hatha Yoga. So why classical? If an asana was simply exercise, you could modify it according to whatever exercise objective you can. You want some bigger biceps, you could modify it. You want some bigger calves, you could do it. You want to get stronger to lift up our box, you could do it. But what you're handling is a technology for the human system, then precision and direction becomes important. Sadhguru speaks very strongly about maintaining classical yoga in its original form rather than reducing it to just basic mechanics. And there's another dimension to this. Traditionally, yoga was not simply information that somebody learned and then repeated. It came through transmission. So it wasn't taught, it was actually transmitted. Notice that even the story of Adiyogi and the Saptarishis, Sadhguru described years of transmission. So this is why within classical Hatha Yoga, the practice is received and the way it is offered matters. This is also why the role of the teacher is somewhat different. So in my training, we were meant to stay there for 6 months, and you have to do practice 6 hours in the morning, 6 hours in the evening. You do seva, you have to write exams, and you have to collect everything at once. There's no breaks, there's no vacation, there's no stopping. And when you come out at the end of it, whatever you paid for that course, you want to multiply it by 10 times, because the experience of that is nothing anybody could describe to you. And you're in front of a consecrated space, in front of a lingam, which is extraordinarily powerful. So that's another story, though. I'll leave that for you guys to experience. And so all of that was to make sure that the message is passed on without distortion. so that we do not add any of ourselves onto what was transmitted. This came from Shiva himself, through the Saptarishis, undiluted in these very specific pathways where people hold this beyond life itself. There will be no distortion, and that maintains the purity, and it means that when you actually receive the process, you actually receive the process. You don't receive something that resembles it. You have the actual postures, processes, and every part of the mechanics of what was given and what should be given. So let's come back to where we started. So what is yoga? So I think a little while ago we thought perhaps the word brought to mind a posture. Now we have a different picture. So I hope you think the word yoga means union now. Not as a belief, not as a philosophy, an experiential reality. The yogic sciences are technologies developed to move a human towards that possibility. Hatha Yoga uses the physical body and the dimensions that are connected with it as part of the process. And it just so happens to become fit in the bargain. So the asana has a purpose, the breath has a purpose, and the precision certainly has a purpose. The transmission definitely has a purpose. And ultimately, all of them point beyond themselves. Because you can listen to me talk about yoga, you can listen to Sadhguru talk about yoga, you can read every book on yoga, you can know its history, you can even intellectually understand everything that we've discussed today. But that still isn't yoga. Yoga begins to mean something fundamentally different when it becomes your experience. So if you're leaving here thinking, I didn't realize this is what yoga was, then perhaps the next step is not to accumulate more information about yoga. Perhaps the next step is to experience something of it. And there are opportunities for anyone here who wishes to explore that possibility. We're working with the Mandir to make these possibilities available to you. And you can see me about it afterwards. I'll stick around if anybody has any questions about that. So with that, I'd like to open up for any questions anybody might have. Yeah, we have a question at the back. It's always at the back first. I don't know why.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Namaskaram.
The mind is regarded as being very fickle. Can we say yoga is one way in which we can help to stabilize the mind, to help it to restore the imbalance that exists? In other words, to help us to control the mind. That is one of the questions. The second one is, in the human personality, in the human existence, from your vantage point, which do you think plays a greater part, heredity or environment? Those are my two questions.
Okay, sure. So just to recap, the first part of the question is how to actually balance the mind. The second part of the question was in developing the personality and maybe evolving beyond that. So the first part of the question. So when we speak about the mind is, in yoga is not about the brain. It involves the 5 sheaths of the body, the koshas they're called. So there's the food body, there's the mental body, there's the pranic body, which is the energy body, there's the transitionary body, and then there's the bliss body. The bliss body is not about bliss, it's just when you get to that point and all the layers are aligned, you are in a blissful state. So we don't speak about health in yoga, we speak about alignment. So that you get to, once everything is aligned, and once all the energy structures, your mental body, this physical body are aligned, just those three, then you don't need to speak about health anymore. Everything happens absolutely automatically. And the other two dimensions open up once those three are taken care of. And then the processes that we described as yoga, or when somebody say, I do yoga, those things, pranayama, which involves breathing, mantra, which involves sound, even music, you could take care of a cow, that is also yoga. You could do martial arts, that is also yoga. So the activity itself, if it gets you into that state of union, it's called yoga, okay? It's just that the precision and the way that the yogis have outlined it, there's no randomness in the process. You just do it like they say, and it works. And then everything automatically happens from there. And the idea of yoga is not just sticking with the physical, it's to go beyond the physical. So that's why I use that example of the trees. So the trees now, they are not inside this envelope we call our body. The trees are all around. But if the trees weren't there, your lungs wouldn't matter. There would be no oxygen, there would be nothing coming out of here. Even the soil you walk on, people speak about probiotics now. Where do you think all the probiotics come from? Most of the disease that we see out now is coming from us not being in contact with nature. Even the shoes we put on. When you go to South India, you see all these people, they walk around barefoot. These people are super healthy earth people. They look like they could lift up the Mandir itself and carry it straight to Lanka, okay? So those people, they're not actually doing yoga, but they maintain those processes that Agastya Muni passed down and was able to just be in a state of yoga just by living their lives. So the second question was about the personality and how to get beyond that. Now that question is actually about karma and how to unravel the karmic structure. So karma is a whole lecture by itself, but essentially karma means memory. So you're born in a certain way. So if you eat dog food, do you become a dog? Anybody experience that? Okay, so there's a certain memory inside of you which doesn't make a mistake. Anything you take in, it gets decoded and it forms this body. That memory is also karma. We think of karma as this tit-for-tat thing. I do this and I get punishment. I do this and I get good. Karma is not that. If we were to have no karma, then you would have no existence. So karma is not a good and bad thing, it's just a mechanism. So if you want to go beyond your karma, or you want to do karma yoga, this is to do activity so that you go beyond the existence, and then that now will get you beyond the physical realities, align the koshas, and then you experience that state of yoga. So I hope you all understand part of that. I mean, I'm very oversimplifying because there's a lot to take in, right? Anybody have any other questions? Or I don't know if we have time. Yeah.
So we have another question here.
Sure.
So we want to know what you describe the pranic body and the effect of breathing, and couple it with Uncle Ajoda's question. What's the effect of the pranic body and the breathing on the mind? And how could we use it to influence the mind?
So prana means the basic life energy within us, and yama means the control. So to have control of the prana is called pranayama. So it doesn't directly affect the mind. Prana affects the pranic body. But if your energies are aligned, then your physical body and your mental body are also aligned. So if there are any issues, any problems that you might have, people will tend to try to say, okay, let me do yoga, and let me try to do this for this specific thing. But yoga is not a therapy. Because what's a therapy? If you have a problem and you go to the doctor, what's going to happen? He's going to give you some medicine, right? But when the problem is over, what happens? You're supposed to stop taking the medicine, right? You're back to normal. But yoga is not like that. Yoga is something you keep within yourself and make it a discipline in your life and keep on go in with it. And then that gets you to a state which is beyond this limited structure that we call our body. So yes, you can use prana to influence the mind, but not in the way that you think, let's balance ourselves a little bit. But in that way, if you didn't have a balanced mind or body, how could you sit down here? It would be almost impossible, right? So we have to work on your body. We have to work on your breathing. We have to work on your diet. We have to work on different aspects of your life. We have to take advantage of nature. This is why we have the lunisolar calendar in the Hindu Vedic tradition, because the moon is extraordinarily important with that upsurge of energy. I mean, it affects all the water in the world, right? You think it doesn't affect the water in you? So we use the moon as a process, and we use the sun as a process. We use the solar eclipses as a process, the lunar eclipses. So when you say, what does pranayama involve? You're just taking one limb of what the entire set of things are. And this is what happened when we came to the West. So we didn't have the full set of mechanisms to be able to get us into that state of yoga. We took something, we said, okay, we did pranayama, we got more relaxed, so we got to stop now. I feel real good every day. Life is great. But then you're stuck because you have this karmic body and you have this karmic process that you came here to work out. You must work this out, right? And you get this human body as an opportunity to be able to go beyond the human body and that physical dimension. So that's I hope this answered your question, yeah.
So Nilesh ji, I want to thank you. I think the information this morning and the process was indeed quite edifying. The understanding of the various limbs, the understanding of what yoga is, and the practical example demonstrated, I think, has gone in a large measure in terms of what we conceptualize yoga to be and a deeper understanding. I'm certain that persons have other questions, which I know they will ask you after we concluded this morning, so I hope you're open to that. Yeah, but on behalf of the entire team at the Krishna Mandir, and indeed on behalf of all of the devotees who are here and the many of us who are looking online on YouTube and Facebook, we want to extend our profound thanks and gratitude for the experience this morning. I won't call it information, the experience of understanding what yoga is and the practice of it. And I know we all look forward to further sessions, either in this format or other format, that can allow us to develop and to grow as well. Namaste. Please express our profound thanks. At this juncture then, I would now invite members of the congregation to come forward and to perform your arti and to perform your devotions as I hand back over to members of the group who will engage in kirtan.
Jai Bola Bandari Shivahare. Testing. Jai Bola Bandari Shivahare. Jai Bola Bandari. Jai Bola Bandari Shivahare. Jai Bola Bandari. Jai Kailashpati Shiv Shankar, Jai Kailashpati Shiv Shankar, Sab jag ye hitkari. Jai Bola Bandari Shivahare, Jai Bola Bandari. Jai Bola Bandari Shivahare, Jai Bola Bandari. शिव शंकर मंत्र जगाओ, होवे घट उजियारा। नमामि शंकर, नमामि शंकर, नमामि शंकर, नमामि शंकर। कृपा करो त्रिपुरारी, जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। जय कैलाशपति शिव शंकर, जय कैलाशपति शिव शंकर। सब जगह हितकारी, जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। शब्दनाद से शब्द जगाकर स्वर संगीत बहाया। युग युग से ये सृष्टि राची, ऐसे डमरू बजाया। तेरी याद बुला के जग में, तेरी याद बुला के जग में, दुख पाए संसारी। जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। जय कैलाशपति शिव शंकर, जय कैलाशपति शिव शंकर। सब जगह हितकारी, जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। तीनों ताप हरण कर लेता, ये त्रिशूल तिहारा। तेरा नाम जपे से जग में, मिलता मुक्ति द्वारा। महादेव पर ब्रह्म विदाता, महादेव पर ब्रह्म विदाता। आए शरण तिहारी, जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। जय कैलाशपति शिव शंकर, जय कैलाशपति शिव शंकर। सब जग के हितकारी, जय बोला बलदारी शिव हर, जय बोला बलदारी। जय बोला बलदारी, जय बोला बलदारी।
क्षमा करो मेरी भूल, नाथ में हो चरणों की धूल। क्षमा करो मेरी भूल, नाथ में हो चरणों की धूल। नाथ में हो चरणों की धूल। बस की अब स्वीकार करो मेरे असवों के फूल। मैं हूँ चरणों की धूल, मैं हूँ चरणों की धूल।
मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, भोला 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 भोला, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे। काशी जी की विश्वनाथ नाथों के नाथ, काशी जी की विश्वनाथ नाथों के नाथ, काशी जी की विश्वनाथ नाथों के नाथ, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, भोला 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 भोला, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे। कोई चढ़ावे पान फूल, कोई चढ़ावे माला, 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 कोई मांगे मांग रहा है गोली लेके बाला, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, भोला 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 भोला, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे। अंधनों को आँख दे कोढ़ियन को गाया, अंधन को आँख दे कोढ़ियन को गाया, अंधनों को आँख दे कोढ़ियन को गाया, अंधनों को आँख दे कोढ़ियन को गाया, बांझनों को पुत्र दे निर्धन को माया, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, भोला 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 भोला, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे, मेरे बम 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 मेरे बम भोला रे।
सारे गरे 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 सध सा सा ग म ध प ग म रे ग रे सा, पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना, पाहि पाहि गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना, पाहि 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 गजानना पार्वती नंदा गजानना। लंबोदर है गजानना, लंबोरगधर गजानना, ओ लंबोरगधर गजानना, पाहि पाहि गजानना, पार्वती नंदा गजानना, पाहि पाहि गजानना, पार्वती नंदा गजानना, पाहि 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 गजानना, पार्वती नंदा गजानना, पार्वती नंदा गजानना, पार्वती नंदा गजानना.
Rains Boli Shri Ganesh Bhagavan Ki Jai. We'll now invite our PRO, Mr. Daryl Ramharak, for this morning's announcements. I do urge you to pay attention because there are a number of announcements and we really value your input and interest in these upcoming activities.
Sitaram, everyone. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you again to Sunday morning service. For those of you all who may be new here or away for some period of absence, we welcome you back to the Mandir. I'd like to say thank you again to Mr. Nilesh Budusing for his wonderful and insightful discourse on the practice of yoga. I think we could give him a round of applause for that. As usual, any donations that need to be made to the Mandir could be done at the office at the back after service, as well as anyone who wishes to perform puja on a Sunday morning or for any one of our auspicious occasions coming up, you could also visit the office at the back and those arrangements will be made accordingly. So, we do have an invitation here from the Santnagar Hindu Temple in Sandi Grandi, who is hosting a 9/9 Ramayana Yoga Yagna from Friday the 14th of August to Saturday the 22nd of August. So, the puja will take place at 5:30 p.m. every day, and then Katha will follow from 7 to 9 p.m. in the night. On Tuesday, the 20th of August, they will be performing Rameshwar Puja, and then on Sunday, the 23rd, they will have a Gita Path from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. So you all are invited to attend that yagna if you wish. Also, for those of you all who would have been here last week and for a couple of weeks prior, you would have heard us mention something about a Nelson Island tour. So this is one of the initiatives that the Mandir has been embarking upon, trying to increase the social activities that we do here at the Mandir. So we would have done one activity so far, which was a trip to the Bamboo Cathedral, and next up on the list of activities is a trip to Nelson Island. So to share more about that trip and the details and so on, I'll invite Amral, our Assistant Secretary, who will go through some of those details for you.
Sitaram, everyone. Thanks, Dariel. So last week we would have announced that the Mandir, as Dariel said, having the first activity to tracking station. We are looking at August the 22nd, that's next week Saturday, to do a trip down to Nelson Island. So some of you all would know that Nelson Island is one of the islands of the Western Peninsula. So to get there, you'll have to take a boat. So we have arranged for the Mandir to we've invited persons to join with us as we embark on this journey to create an activity where we are inviting persons to show some fellowship, camaraderie, and to do something out of the Mandir itself so that we have persons engaging in something a little bit different. So for this, we'll be doing a trip down to Nelson Island. We will start firstly where we have a maxi where persons who don't want to drive could join in on the maxi. The maxi would leave the Mandir at 7 a.m. and then proceed into Shagaramas, where at the La Soufre port, a pirogue will meet us there, and the pirogue will take us across to Nelson Island. So the cost for the maxi is $60 a person for those who are interested in taking the maxi. So we still have some spaces open up for persons who want to join us on the maxi itself. Now, where La Soufre is, for persons who want to drive, And well, this is just the flyer here. For persons who want to drive, after you pass 5 islands on the left-hand side, you'll pass the military museum. You can't miss it. They have a big Caribbean Airlines plane. And then right after that is the heliport base, the military heliport base. Right after the heliport base, there's a driveway with a white barrier, and that's where the La Soufrière port is. So for those who drive in, that's where we'll be meeting up before we then take the vessel. There's a cost for $50 per car to park at the La Soufrière port. So once you enter, you let them know you're part of the Nelson Island tour. There's a car park. So the car park is quite big. So lots of cars could fit. For those who don't want to use the maxi, you can come with your cars. So there's a lot of safe parking. And then we will take the pirogue. You'll see the pirogue shortly. So the pirogue has life jackets for everybody. We'll put about 30, 35 persons on the pirogue, and it will take us across to Nelson Island. That journey itself should take us maybe 20, 25 minutes max. Once we drop off at Nelson Island, we'll be doing the tour, and the tour will be done in various groups. So what can you expect when you reach onto Nelson Island? So we have a short clip that will show you all
the registration.
what you would see at Nelson Island. So for some of you all who know a little bit of history, Nelson Island was one of the main islands that the indentured laborers would have had to visit first to do the quarantine before they would have come onto mainland. So this is just a little bit of history. It's just a little teaser video here for you all to see what to expect. Okay, good. So we don't want to share too much for you all to watch the video and not come next week. So the cost now for Nelson Island. So there's a cost to go onto the island, and then there's a cost for the tour. So the grand total for those persons who are driving is $200. So it's $200 a person for adults and $150 for kids. What that would include? That would include the pirogue trip across and the going on to Nelson Island and the tour. If it is you choose to go with the maxi, that's an additional $60 for the maxi to take you all up. And if it is those who want to drive, you pay $50 extra per car to park. Right? So just some key points here. Persons who are interested, we ask that you give your names at the back. Those include persons who are going on the maxi, and those includes persons who are driving, so that we could account for the total number, so that we could share with the persons at Nelson Island, as well as to the captain of the vessel. I would have mentioned the adult cost is $200 a person, children under 12, $150. We want to reach Chaguaramas for 9 o'clock. So those of you all who are driving, reach the La Soufrière port for 9 o'clock. We could give further details on the directions. For those who take in the maxi is leaving here at 7 a.m. because we need to reach there for 9 o'clock. Because it's a pirogue we're going on, we ask that you all walk with a change of clothes. There may be a chance, if not rain, you may get a little bit of splash on the way there. So walk with a change of clothes so that you can be comfortable. Even if you walk with a raincoat, please walk with a change of clothes. And a small umbrella as well. The tour will just be going to Nelson Island, doing the tour and coming back. There's no additional stop for persons to bathe. Those who wish to bathe afterwards at the beach, you have the Macri Beach and the boardwalk at your own accord. But there are no cave tours. I know some persons call to ask if we go into the cave. That is not included on this trip. Persons ask how much walking do we have to do. So it's a very basic walk on Nelson Island. The tour itself is about an hour long, but they have places to sit. So for those who feel like it'll be too much, we have places to sit along the way. There are washroom facilities on the island, and then we'll be leaving there at 1 o'clock to come back across. So after we finish the tour, persons there could engage in lunch, and then the vessel leaves at 1 o'clock to come across. There will not be any lunch provided, so persons are free to walk with their own lunch. Our recommendation is walk with something simple, like a sandwich or something like that across there. We don't need to carry a whole big parasad pot to make pilau there. That will be impractical. So walk with something light to eat across there, because whatever you tote on the boat, you have to take it off the boat and carry it there. Right? The younger men, their back won't be too good that day to help tote any pot or coolers. The Mandir, however, will be providing some water for those of you all on the journey itself. So we'll provide some water and you all are responsible for your lunch. So again, those who are interested, please see Dariel, Roger, or myself at the back, those of you all who are driving and interested in the Maxi. And we hope to make it a family event next week, Saturday, and Chagramas 9 o'clock or the Mandir at 7 o'clock for the Maxi. And we look forward to a full attendance as we continue to expand on activities out of the Mandir. Thank you, Sitaram.
Right. So I'd like to thank Amral very much for going through that in detail. So it is an initiative that we at the Mandir here is trying to do a lot more of in terms of increasing the amount of social activities that we do. So we do hope that at least all or most of you can join us next Saturday at the Nelson Island tour. So with that long list of announcements, that brings me to an end. Here, I would just like to say to anyone who is celebrating a birthday this upcoming week, anniversary, or any special occasion of any kind, we wish you all the very best. I know that our very own Dr. Mitra Maharaj is celebrating his birthday today. So we say a very special happy birthday to him. And to anyone else who is celebrating anything this week, so please have an enjoyable rest of the day, a lovely week ahead, and I hope to see you all next Saturday down at Nelson Island. See you, everyone.
Thank you, Dariel. We now stand for final arti.
Jai Shiva Omkara, Hare Shiva Omkara, Jai Shiva Omkara, Hare Shiva Omkara, Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hare Dhage Dhara, Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva, Hare Dhage Dhara. Jai Shiva Omkara, Hare Shiva Omkara, Jai Shiva
our satsang and our puja this morning. We give thanks to you, Prabhu, for all of the blessings that you've bestowed and continue to bestow upon us. We ask you with extreme humility for your continued blessing, for your continued guidance and inspiration. O Prabhu, we plead this morning for blessings upon those persons who are ill, who may be ailing at home or in the hospitals, that you restore them once more to good health. For persons who may have lost their loved ones, we ask you to give them that solace and that strength needed to cope with their loss. And particularly we pray, as we always do, for those individuals who are engaged in acts of criminality and in deviant patterns, that you enter their mind and their hearts and redirect those actions away from that lifestyle to a way that is closer to you. For you are mother, you are father, you are family, you are friend, you are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. We surrender to you. Tvameva Mata Shapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Shaseka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamasu Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Shri Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai Mapati Mahadeva ki Jai Bindravan Bihari Lal ki Jai Aaj Shakti Jagadamba Devi Maya ki Jai Shri Paunaputra Hanuman ki Jai Prem se bole Shri Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai Chintanas Rani Sab Koi Jai Jai Sitaram. Have a very powerful and very productive week ahead. And we look forward to seeing you all with us on Saturday for the Nelson Island tour and again on Sunday morning. Jai Sitaram, everyone.
Bye.